Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a Silver Widowmaker. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, all of that good stuff.
Personally, but I will see them done.
Widowmaker Numbani, okay. So I'm just not quite sure what this mine is about. Like, I appreciate that your mine is on the field. That's an improvement over a lot of Silver Widowmakers. But, like, you could throw the mine here. That would have some value. You could throw the mine here on the edge of this bus. That would have some value then when someone walks by. I don't really like it here because, like, by the time someone triggers this mine, it's going to be so obvious to you. Like, it's not going to serve as an early warning system. It's going to be so obvious to you that they were already here and fighting your team before they get out here to trigger your mine. Or walk up here and, like, Winston jump up here. It's going to have been so obvious to you that they were already there. So it's, like, maybe getting you some damage, but it's not really giving you any sort of early warning system. And that's not really good enough for us. It might have hit a Lucio. Well, then you'd celebrate, blah.
2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Fighting.
Allez, montre-toi.
I can live with this, but you realize it's happening to the right, maybe?
Enemy contact.
Okay. Okay. I would be good with a flick to the left, yeah. I wanted to check to be sure. No, you don't need to rotate. That was way too long. So it's good to unpeak and then repeak, but that was a long time for you to be unpeaked. That's a lot of time you not contributing to the fight. When you weren't particularly low health, under pressure, etc. Now you might need to unpeak again. Yeah. And this is fine. See, you come right back out much faster this time, and no one's looking at you. And you might not know that no one's looking at you, but we can actually see in the replay where we can see through walls. Ash is clearly looking this way. McCree's clearly left. Moira's clearly looking this way. So you're good. You're good, even with just that short unpeak for having cleared attention to you. Hey, Red Boy. I don't want to go here. This is strictly worse. This is, like, less powerful. Your team was already playing here. Your team was potentially backing up in this direction. You're shooting from a direction that your team was in. You're shooting from a direction where they're returning people. Their people coming back are instantly going to be looking at you. You were much stronger over here. Like, there was no reason to give this up.
The enemies of Talon will be. No one can hide from my sight.
This isn't a very good Widow's Kiss. Or Infocyte, rather. The reason it's not a very good Infocyte is look at the status of the fight. It's you and Moira versus the world. You're not going to win this fight. Like, you're not going to win this fight. It's a 4v2, and these two are, like, not afraid of you, and you having this Infocyte is maybe going to make them duck harder behind cover, maybe go a little bit more behind cover, but mostly these guys are just going to continue capping the point. You want to Infocyte as a team fight starts, or when they don't know where you are. Those are powerful Infocytes. Or just before they'd like a team fight to start, because then they go, we have to wait out an entire Infocyte before we push. Like, those are all better times to Infocyte. Late in a fight where you're already down people, when they already know where you are, is not a good time to use your ult. No pressure in Lost Fight Silver Widow? Okay. think, what would Kenzo do and do that? Okay, okay. I mean, he's off to a good start. He's told us he's silver, right? And that's probably
Here
the
I
first thing
am.
Kenzo would do. Then he'd play poorly to start and start playing better as the game went on. No, not yet, because Kenzo would make it an adventure. He'd have lost that first one. Yeah, so obviously you didn't want to re-enter this fight. This is sort of the same problem. The same problem where you used your ults into a 2v4 scenario. Like, your team isn't really ready for this fight yet. I don't hate it because these two are pushing, so I understand why you want to. But your team isn't like, this isn't real. This isn't real. This Reaper is like running for his life. These guys shouldn't even be engaging, but they are. I guess you can support it because they are, but this is poor engagement timing. And as soon as you see your team running, it's like, okay, if they're not paying any attention to me, so be it. But now they're going to pay all the attention to me. Yeah, it's life.
Je ne vais plus te lâcher.
Group up at my position. Set. Group up.
Team up for special attack.
Sure. He's trying to angle. Okay.
Watch your step.
Push back, take your angle back. Take your angle back. You saw the McCree retreated. You can see this. So this filled in person, the hollow people we can see because it's a replay. The filled in person is someone that you can actually see during the replay, and you saw that the McCree retreated. So you want to take your angle back because you would like a different angle than your team. You would like to peek from here and be like, pew pew, and take people down while your team is threatening in this direction. That would be very good. Way better than this. That Reinhardt was gone with or without you. Like, it feels nice. It's like, oh yeah, it was a headshot. It's got that red filled in arrow. We've got that good dink sound feedback. It feels good, but this Reinhardt was gone. We want to get ourselves over here so that we can threaten their backline that's paying attention to our front line. That's what we want to do.
A legend falls.
Thank you.
No. No. You're threatening from here. Your Orisa is threatening from here. Your Hog is threatening from here. This is just like one line. This is just like one line. Your Orisa is a tiny bit. Your Reaper's trying to do something different and threaten from a different direction, but you want to control this desperately. Desperately, or at the very least, get a mine back up over here as a warning system. What changes do you think Widow will get in Overwatch 2? Oh boy. I don't know that I could confidently predict changes for her. Like, I think the maps are a little bigger, a little more routes, a little more open, which is going to make her more powerful in some ways, but I don't know that they'd be willing to nerf her health more than they have. They could put Grapple on a longer cooldown. They could change Grapple, replace it with a different ability. But she's still going to be a one-shot sniper. Like, they're not going to get rid of that concept. They want that concept in the game. And I'd actually be sort of annoyed if they got rid of the concept. Like, it's who Widow is. So, like, she's either going to be good or bad, and I'd lean towards good right now. If they change something, it would be Grapple. It would be like replace Grapple with a different ability, and I don't think they will. Laser Eyes to go with Infovision. Well, actually, what she's going to do is she's going to, with her ult, we're going to replace Infocyte with this ult that just summons a pool of alligators with laser beam headsets. That's what it's going to do. And she's going to have a little cat, a little white cat that goes around too. Okay, no. Okay.
No one can hide from my
Fine,
sight.
that's a better infocyte. That's a much better infocyte than your last one. Wow. He actually tried to challenge your infocyte. That is interesting.
On my way.
They should just remove the one-shots from everyone.
Cake.
I don't think they will. It would change the game, and I don't think they will. Alligators are OP nerf widow. Okay. So I can live with this. I can also live with, you know, sliding over here and going for, is there something else to be had? I'm okay with that. It's pretty aggressive, but this is, you've been on this angle for a minute here. Cool. Take advantage of the fact that McCree's hit and fall off is painful now. No. That is not where we put our mine. Like, it's not a valueless mine. It'll, you know, like, when you leave, maybe it'll hit someone as they're going up here. But I am so much more worried about someone flanking through, oh, I don't know, maybe coming out the other spawn entrance, coming out this way and working their way up to you. Like, I am so much more worried about that. I want my mine right here. Right here. That's what I want.
Group up with me.
Yeah, I don't think Widow's one-shot annoys people as much as Hanzo's one-shot does, or as much as Hog's one-shot did historically.
Team up for special attack. Oh, you look tired.
Okay. I'd have probably just said Chunk Bob with a headshot, but okay. Right idea. That wasn't charged enough, and you know it. Yeah, it's a reasonable retreat path.
No one can hide from my sight.
My business.
Okay, I can live with that. We're gonna throw that. Did you have some great need for that to go deep? No, you could have blown it up there just fine. So like the just standard deck of press dynamite, hold down left click, blow up your dynamite would have been just fine there. You didn't need that dynamite to go deeper. I don't know why you moved your crosshair there. Like, maybe you wanted the dynamite to go deeper and get Moira, but that's not really better. Moira was still going to be a one-person dynamite. Yeah. Okay, so obviously they rolled through you a bit there. Some of your retreat paths could have been better. We definitely would have liked to adjust your minds to be more thinking about the flank route. Like, the most likely flank route, the most likely off angle for a hit scan to show up on to try to get you, or the most likely flank route for a flanker to go through are the things that you generally want to mine. There's different situations where you mine a little bit differently, but most of the time those are the two things that you want to mine. And you're getting sort of random with your stuff, like you're not even mining purely for damage. You're just like, oh, let me mine at the beginning of Numbani over here. Oh, let me mine over by the stairs in case they go up there later. Like, the mine itself is never going to eliminate anyone.
One shot.
And because of that, we want our mine to be our warning system and or to give us, you know, its baby infocytes on the target if it's a poke battle. So, like, let's use our mine with those things in mind.
Reinhard, what should I focus on today?
Try to keep me out of trouble.
Okay. I'll take Hog's one shot any day, get a D.Va or Zarya on your team, and you're good to go. Hasn't always been that way with D.Va. There's been times when it's not been particularly good at canceling Hogs, but yeah. I hear you, Block. No, just wait, just wait. Okay, you can pressure him out, sure. And now go back, now go back. Do not push up this. Do not do this. No, 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 no! This is worthless. If the Ashe is locking down this angle, that's fine. You wait until your team starts to push, and then Ashe will not be able to continue paying attention to this angle, just like you weren't able to continue paying attention to this angle when you were here. She will turn and start paying attention to this. And that is when you open the angle and take your shot. That is when you grapple up and take your shot. That's what you do. You're just so useless if you like go try to stand here and be like, oh, let me throw my mine in, then let me shoot in. Like your damage sucks from here. Let these guys handle this. You have to contribute from a different angle as Widow. You have to. And I'm glad that you're rotating over here and doing this. I totally am. But you should have been here the whole time, and you just spent time that your team is fighting and potentially falling behind in a 6v5 doing this. That was not charged well enough, and that's not the first time you failed to charge your shots well enough. Get over here.
Here I am.
This will help.
How did the Blah Widow 76 Chronicles go? Is awful the summary?
No one can hide.
I thought you were doing pretty well for a while. Awful is the summary, okay.
Walk it off.
Sure. Why? Just do your bajillion damage to Bob. Like, do your 300 damage to Bob, charge up again, do your 300 damage to Bob. You don't need to open the angle to be like, ah, yes, I'm going to do this. Now there's more enemies on your screen. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Like, yes, there's an argument for opening and trying to one-shot the Moira, but I don't think either of us believe that you are likely to one-shot the Moira to cancel that ult. And with that in mind, let's just work our way down on the Bob there.
Essayons encore une fois.
So, like, if there's a Bob in front of you as Widow, you're in the wrong spot? I mean, yes. Yes. Wait for it. You can take one peek from here. You get one shot. Okay. That was 3 shots. No. Why are you now leaving? Now, your team has summoned attention to them. Your soldier just used Visor. That means he's going in. So now is not the time to retreat. I was saying you get one shot because you were going in before your team was going in. Now your team is clearly going in. So now you're in. You keep this angle open. You might close it for a moment, but you keep this angle open or you deepen the angle. Those are your options. We do not... Oh, well, now I'm going to run away. What, you had 20 shots left. It's perfectly fine. That's 4 more shots. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you making your team fight without you? Why are you not contributing to this fight? That was... No. Okay. Why? Why do you think it's okay to shoot when you're 67% charged? Like, if it's a target that you've already weakened, sure. But, like, that's not a thing. You were, what, 40% charged that time? And we can hear that it counted as the headshot, but you were 40% charged. That's not going to work. You can abuse not needing to 100% charge, but you can't charge that limited.
No one can hide from my sight.
Sure. That feels bad for red team. They have Valk and Minefield going and their ball's alive and the cap happens. Close the angle and now reopen it. So as Widow, it's about understanding when you need to close and open angles based on the threat you're in and the threat your team is creating. Like, that's going to be your biggest area for improvement for getting value here. Fully charging your shots, or at least charging them more consistently to a lethal range, would also help a ton. So you can peek once here, peek once, take 1 to 2 shots. Now your team's ready, so you can play for real. You can keep your angle open. Your team's ready. I don't know why it took us so long to find a shot there. Close the angle. No, you just close it for like 1.5 seconds, and now open again. You got it. Need to get the adrenaline rush. Okay. Okay. So are we gonna move our mine? I would really appreciate. There, nice, good mine. You're done. You can't peek that again. You can't peek that again. Okay. You can't peek that until your team is pushing. Your team will be pushing and will draw Ash's attention in about 2 seconds, and you can look through walls to get a good feel for that. Your other option is to go, let me sneak down here and see if there's an easy, quick shot to get. If I can, like, maybe get a quick shot to eliminate someone. That could be a thing, and that'll also cause Ash to go, oh, Widow's there now, which may open this back up to you for another peek. That said, if you're just going to wait for your team, that's fine. Don't force the Ash battle. Please don't. Don't. Now you'd open the angle, because now I can hear that my team is committing. My team is using Coalescence. That's a really strong sign that they're in and that they're committed. So now I might stay in this battle. But I don't have to. I can also just close this angle and be like, hey, Ash, if you continue to pay attention to me, we both know my team is going to roll you. They're using an ult. So I can close the angle and wait, and she's going to cave, like, immediately. I can close the angle for, like, half a second, and she's going to cave immediately and look somewhere else. I didn't need to reload here. I just needed a half-second close on the angle. Oh, that's so slow. You run in this battle for such a long time. Like, just to put things in perspective, what do you know? She's not paying attention to you. You've been out of this for so long. I would not have spent my opening shot on Valking Mercy there. Yeah.
Hello.
You were eliminated by Daddy Potato. Okay. Okay. It's a funny thing to see across your screen.
Let's try that again.
Gotta get used to the charge. Yep. But that's fine. It's something you can practice, but do practice it. Little more patience on your part.
My ultimate is almost ready.
I am moving the payload.
Okay. Fine. Close the angle. Okay.
No one can hide.
Good.
from my
Totally fine in sight. The father of all potatoes, the potato god, one may say. Okay. Okay. So we've talked about your mines. The other thing really for you is going to be understanding attention. Like, you can peek like once from a fresh angle, an angle that you haven't been on before or weren't just on, and get 1 to 2 shots out of it, and then you're done on that angle. You're not going to re-peek that angle until you've peeked somewhere else. It's been an excessively long time, or your team pushes in and is now a threat that they have to balance against. Once your team is pushed in and is a threat that the other team has to balance against, you can repeak your angle constantly. Now you still might unpeak it for like a second and a half, maybe even 2 seconds, but you're then going to repeak. You're not going to stay out of the battle for 4 seconds while your team is in the battle, unless it's to rotate to a fresh angle. But honestly, you don't need to do that very often. You don't. You're way too willing to, like when your team is in it, rotate, which is weird. Just unpeak the angle for a moment and then repeak it. And I promise, just like you get distracted and go shoot at the core rather than the Ashe you're fighting, the Ashe or other Widows are going to do the same thing. That's how they work. They can't afford not to, because if they don't, they're not contributing. And it's just become a 5v5, and neither player wants that. Both players are like, if I don't make the difference, we're not going to win. Can't wait for Winston sniper battles. Oh no. Yeah, that'll be weird. You think Widow should get reworked into a main tank? Oh, okay. That's where that came from.
Enemy contact.
Dual wield sniper rifles and never scope because she's that good. Okay. Oh, painful to miss. Sure, you can chunk that down. I don't know why you thought you could do that follow-up shot with 0 charge though. It's a tank. Like, you had to charge it all the way again.
60 seconds.
Good.
It's not you. It's me.
You gonna 76 that down? No. Retake high ground, please. Retake high ground, please. Retake high ground, please. Please retake high ground. We can shoot around the barriers rather than having to break them. Retake high ground. Thank you. Okay, that was not charged enough to take down the Mercy. It simply wasn't. And you want to charge it enough to take down the Mercy if you're going to shoot at the Mercy, because it's kind of one-shot or perish with her when she's Valking anyway.
10 seconds remaining.
No, we go up, not forward with that. Good. Not your job to hold point. You're a sniper, you have tanks. Please go take forward positioning. Please go take forward positioning. Please go take forward positioning. Please set up to make it hard for the opponents to push back in.
Escort.
It's fine. Cool, you've got a shield. Let's use it. Well. Angle right. Angle right. Use what Hog is getting you. Sure. Can you find him? Can you eliminate him? No. Another TNT miss there. Unfortunate.
Score 4-3. Switching sides.
0 charge against armor is like less than 10 damage. Or just wobble the fish. Okay. Unlimited range Reaper. These are some interesting Overwatch 2 rework ideas, guys. There's a lot more mental stuff to Widow than people make it seem. Oh, there's a ton of strategic stuff to Widow. It's not just all aim. Don't get me wrong, aim helps, but there's a ton of understanding peak timings. Now there's some mechanical stuff too, both the aim and the like, hey, you're not charging your shots enough. Like there's different times to use. You can decide not to fully charge your secondary shot. Like if you go, oh, I didn't quite get the elimination on the first person, like I hit a body shot already, so my follow-up shot, because it was a body shot, not a headshot, doesn't need to be charged as much because it'll be a headshot. There's things like that that you can do, but
Hello.
in general, we're not charging these a lot of these shots enough.
4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Yep,
Defend
yep,
objective.
I hear you, Red Boy. We gotta fix that.
Hello.
Go, Diego. Good. Can reopen it. It's okay. It's fine. Right idea. Reopen it again. No, 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 no. It's fine. Push back out. Good. Echo's your priority. And you don't even care about ball. Like, you can 76 him down, or you can go take your spot back. Ooh, that's not a thing that I do. That is not a thing that I do. No, thank you. Now you're gonna have to use your grapple to get a real spot. That is not real. Think about this. This is a pure damage thing. It's almost certainly going to get blown up by their shots up at your team before they get to it. It's not going to give you a warning system because your team is going to give you plenty of warning that they're coming this way. Even if they don't say anything, you're going to have plenty of knowledge that they're coming this way based on how hard your team is going to start spamming, based on the spam that is going to come out here. A Widow Mine here makes more sense. A Widow Mine trying to be deeper down here makes more sense. A Widow Mine trying to be deeper down here makes more sense. A Widow Mine back here or here makes more sense. That mine sucks. Can't play Ashe, you'd be distracted by Bob's glorious body. Fair enough.
Merci. Did that sting?
Oh, look! Ah.
60 seconds remaining.
So obviously we don't grapple at the ball, who has a pretty high spread weapon after the first shot or two, because it makes it easier for him. And we also are like, oh wait, right, if we'd put our mine in one of those better places, we would have caught him. We would have known that he was coming. So yeah.
My ultimate is charging. Understood. For your own safety.
No one can
Oh, I know you were panicked.
30
Your angle
seconds.
kind of sucks. But the infosight was good.
Dein Schutzengel ist da.
You charged that one enough. You just didn't hit the shop.
Their time is running out.
Cap. So we're gonna give you 3 things to work on. I want you to work on each of these one at a time with like 5 to 15% of your brain power. That's what I want you to do. And the first thing I want you to work on is I want you to work on charging your shots unless you know why you're not charging your shot. There are absolutely tech situations, and if you were a better Widow player, we might get into them, of when you don't charge your second shot all the way, or how you can get away with you not actually having to be fully charged for that first shot when you expect it to be a headshot. But like, you lose significant amounts. Like the difference between 90 and 100, sure, you can get away with that. But the difference between 40 and 100, 60 and 100, you're just doing no damage and it's still costing you your ammo and your most of the same amount of time, and it's just not worth. So like you have to be focused, even though it's going to hurt your aim, your thinking, your tactics a little bit. We need you to use like 5 to 15% of your brain power while you're playing to be conscious of fully charging that shot or knowing exactly why you're not. Like you should be able to defend it every time that you don't fully charge a shot, why you charged it, and it shouldn't be, I was rushed, I was panicked, he was right in my face. It should be, well, it didn't make sense in that situation because it was enough damage not to. Or I was just firing what I had and then I immediately converted to, SMGing it down. Fine. But like you should be able to defend every instance where you don't do it. There might be plenty of instances where you don't do it as you get good at Widow, but you should be able to defend every time that you don't charge a shot. So 5 to 15% of your power, of your brain power, focused for your next 10 games, 15 games, 30 games, 50 games, whatever it takes to work into your autopilot to charge your shots at least when appropriate. Like you gotta charge your shots. For now, you should just charge all your shots, to be honest. Like you can get into the text of when you don't, but for now you should just be like, learn to follow the rule, learn the rules, and then you learn how you can break them. And your rule for now is going to be charge up your shots when it comes to your scope. That's going to be the most impactful thing because you want to get this fixed, you want to get this right before you've set in a habit of rushing your shots too much. Like this will help you both because you actually need it to do better on Widow, but also because like if you let this cement in wrong, it's going to be harder to fix in the future. The more time you do this wrong, the harder this one will be to fix. So we want to fix this one first. Charge your shots. The second thing that we want to get into is we want to understand peak timings when we're a heavy poke DPS like Widow. We want to understand, and this is what we are talking about, so after you've got your shots like locked in and you're actually charging those most of the time and only not doing so when it makes sense not to, then you're going to move on because you've locked this in as a habit and you're going to focus on your peak timings. And your peak timings, again, if it's a fresh angle, you can peek it once, get maybe 2, maybe 3 shots off trying to do work, and then close the angle unless you got eliminations. If you got eliminations, you might then get to take more shots, but hey. That's fine. If it's a fresh angle, you can then either change your angle and take fresh shots from a different angle if they didn't see you transition there, or you can wait for your team. When your team is involved, you can take a couple shots and then close an angle, and then you can re-peak that angle in a second and a half, in 2 seconds, and you won't still have attention on you 85, 90% of the time. And that's plenty good enough odds to justify re-peaking to try to go for another shot. Now, it gets more advanced as you get to GM levels where you start getting into baits of paying attention of like, you expected it, so like they start looking away and then look back when they think you're going to peak. It gets more advanced. They're not there at this level. They're not. So you can just be like, my team is fighting. Cool. I would like to let my team fight. After my team has been fighting for even a second, I will peek. I will take my shot. Hopefully I'll get an elimination. Oh, there's some attention on me. I see shots are coming my way. I close my angle. I wait 1 second, 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds. Then I re-peek. And I get to take fresh shots again. And if someone puts attention on me again, cool, I can close the angle again on me. They won't keep their attention on you. And you know this because you don't keep your attention on them when they close angles on you. You get bored and you go shoot at the team fight. They will do the same thing, I promise. So that's the second thing I want you to understand. This peak timing thing and how this works. And then the third thing that you'd work on would be your Widow Mines. Your Widow Mines are not as informational as they should be. They are missing things like, oh, look, this Hammond showed up and you had no clue. That shouldn't have happened. And if it should have happened, it should have been because you were using your mine to guard against some other equally valuable and equally likely to be threatening angle that wasn't the one he took, which could be fine. That might still happen. But it shouldn't happen while your mind is in a bad place. And Widow Mines do matter. They're not the most important thing, but they do matter as they give you warnings when someone peeks an angle that might have been able to one-shot you, or give you warning when a flanker shows up that might have been a problem, those sorts of things. So those are the 3 things I'd give you, and I'd recommend you work on them in that order, one thing at a time. Don't try to make all 3 changes at once. If you or anyone else has questions, you can throw them up in chat now. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, all of that good stuff. Okay. Does this skin have the best weapon model of any Widow skin? Do you mean like from a competitive standpoint, or do I like the weapon model? I think the weapon model is fine in both standpoints. I think it's okay in what it covers here. I think it's okay in the amount of surface area of your screen it covers, not amazing. And from looks, it's fine. It perhaps looks a little more real than some of her other weapons. Okay. Way too much scoping in Widow 76 to win? Maybe not. Maybe not. I imagine Widows and Silver get nagged to switch a lot. Yes, reports on the field say that they do. Nano Widow SMG greater than literally anything else in the game? Maybe not. Okay, thanks. Another stream later. I will do some more reviews later. I'm probably done streaming for the day, so I'll upload another review or two. But that's probably it in terms of streams for the day. What's a good way to practice peaking timings more consistently? Be conscious of it. Like, you still need to play competitive to do it. You can't go practice it in deathmatch or whatever, because you need your team. You need to use your team for your peak timing stuff. So, like, you need to use your team. So, like, your practice is you're going to mentally apply 10% of your brain power, 15% of your brain power, while the other 85 is playing the game, doing your mechanics, thinking about, team fights, ults, all that, strategy, whatever. You're like using 10 to 15% of your brain power to think about that timing. And your practice mode for it is going to be competitive, because that is where team fights happen. And your peak timings are tied around your team being a credible threat and you understanding when they're a credible threat. So you're not going to go practice this in some workshop or in, DM or anything like that. You're going to practice it in competitive. You're just going to be focused while you're practicing it in competitive. So no Lucio Ball reviews. I don't have an issue doing a Lucio Ball review. I'm just, gonna go deal with lunch, take a break, etc. before my next sessions. I probably won't get to a Lucio Ball review today because then I have evening plans as well. So probably not. Maybe I'll get to it tomorrow. It depends how the schedule goes. I don't have an issue with it. Sup gamers? Hey Bluex. Oh, and is today the day to buy GMA? It's still on my research list, blah. And I don't feel like a need for my research to be I don't feel a need for my continued research into that to be like this instant, because what I'm looking for is not a like, oh, what's the next move in terms of meminess, though the meminess will drive part of its continued success if it's going to succeed. I would be looking more into, okay, they did do things in terms of they sold off stock, like the company sold off stock to get more operating money, and I want to look more into what are they really planning to do with that operating money to see, okay, well, do they actually have a future? That would be the more interesting thing to me for them right now. Which there's not really a super sensitive time crunch on that, but yes, it's relevant right now. I'll take a look. It's on my list. It's not going to happen today, and it's probably not going to happen tomorrow, but maybe we can get to that this weekend. Lucio Ball got 2 hearts temporal. Your students have spoken. I see. Is 2 emotes is all it takes to get me to do things? It doesn't take like super chats or things like that? I don't know about that, guys. Thoughts on rights to repair? I am in favor of rights to repair. I am in favor of right to repair. I'm in favor of right to repair. I think we are generally too soft with our monopoly laws or our enforcement of monopoly laws, and those go kind of hand in hand. Thanks so much for the review. Will the VOD be available on your channel? Yes, at the same URL. When we end this stream, it'll still exist here as a video, as its own independent video. Not like buried in a 6-hour stream. As its own video, it'll exist at the same URL. I'm so glad right to repair is becoming a thing. Me too, but I don't know how long it'll hold. They're pretty good at sneaking in ways to make it not matter, even when right to repair laws get passed, to make it not matter because, oh, we've done this thing, etc. That makes it irrelevant. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay, that's going to do it for now. I will see you guys later. Thanks. Temporal.